Hi, I'm Casey Flowers, and today I'm going to be answering the age-old question, should I charge my crystals during an eclipse? First things first, I just want to say that I personally believe that your craft is whatever you make of it. And by craft, I'm not just talking about witchcraft. I personally think of a craft as anything that you do on a somewhat regular basis that strengthens your connection with yourself and to the universe. So Christians might do daily devotionals, tarot readers might do cards of the day, Christian tarot readers might do both. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide what works best for you and what doesn't. That being said, you didn't click on this video just to hear you can do what you want. So let me tell you the facts. First of all, why do we charge our crystals during the full moon anyway? The moon affects the tides, and we're made of like 97% water or something like that. I'm definitely a scientist, so it's not too crazy to think that the moon could affect us too. When you're working with crystals, you might want to charge them, which basically just means to program them to resonate at a certain frequency that usually is auspicious to something that you're trying to accomplish in your life. So people charge their crystals under the full moon, usually to capture some of that lunar energy, which is naturally at its peak because you can see the most of the moon. So some people will put all of their crystals out every full moon just to kind of cleanse it, as well as strengthening their own connection with knowing when the full moon is. That is 100% okay. You do you, boo-boo. But when you start to get really into crystals and astrology, you can actually pick out specific crystals to put out under specific full moons. So say you had a creativity stone and you were trying to maximize your self-esteem with your art. It might be helpful to put out your creativity stone not just under any full moon, but perhaps under a full moon in Leo, or some other sign that will give you some more self-confidence. Some people also think that putting out crystals under the full moon unlocks some of the subconscious energies within it, and therefore makes it easier for you to manifest the life that you want. So getting back to the question at hand, should you charge your crystals under an eclipse? You think I'm gonna give you a straight answer? Still no. So my first question to you is, why do you want to charge under the eclipse? Be honest with yourself. Did you just find out it was a full moon tonight? Are you pulling a basic bitch move? Maybe get some Instagram picture? No shade here. I've been there. That's how I know about this. So first and foremost, if you're just trying to rush it, my best advice to you is to not. Just wait till next month and you don't even have to worry about any of this. That being said, if you have some sort of pressing urgent matter, or maybe you're trying to do some shadow work involved with the eclipse, let me give you an idea of what's gonna happen to your crystals when you put them under the eclipse to charge. So from a physical standpoint, the moon is hanging out, and you're gonna watch as the moon gets smaller and then bigger again because of the movement of the sun in front of it. I'm definitely a scientist. Think about it this way. The moon is used to its natural phases, right? And the eclipse comes in and just kind of disrupts it. It's chaotic and it's unexpected, and it kind of defeats the purpose altogether. The purpose being to capture as much moonlight as possible, right? If you're going to be getting less of that moonlight, what's the purpose in putting it out? For some reason, I'm just imagining like the moon going through something super traumatic, like not knowing what's going on, and then you're just like taking a picture of it like a paparazzi at its worst moment. And maybe there's some spiritual significance to that. Maybe you can harness that for some shadow work. I'm not sure about that. Maybe my path will get there at some point, but right now I'd have to refer you out to a shadow worker. So again, what's your purpose in putting it out during the eclipse? I'm gonna tell you a quick story about myself that inspired me to do this video in the first place. This is obviously a couple of years ago, or maybe a year ago. I don't know. One night I wanted to put my crystals out and charge them under the full moon, and I found out that night it was going to be an eclipse. It was then that I noticed this conversation in the first place. I went on Facebook groups, I went on Twitter, and ultimately there wasn't enough historical information, whatever that means, to convince me to not do it. So I put my crystals out. I'm not saying that it destroyed my life or that my crystals became cursed or anything like that, but I did notice a difference. When I went back to charge the same crystals in 2 or 3 months, I had a flashback to the night that I put them out on the eclipse. I realized that the intentions that I had set had kind of become muddied along the way. Like somehow I had forgotten the path that I was walking, even though I had laid it out for myself. So in my personal experience, I probably wouldn't put out my crystals again to charge under the eclipse energy. Anyway, so I put you through this really long video just to answer yes or no questions. So, should you charge your crystals during the eclipse? The answer is no. Bye!